The suitcase. When you become a parent, everything changes, even what you carry. One day my wife announced that she was taking our new baby boy to see my parents. I had two very important presentations that day. So important that I purchased a new suit for the occasion, a dark, tropical wool with a subtle pinstripe. I'm not in the least bit superstitious, but twice before I'd done very well wearing a red tie. So I bought 3 ties with red in them to go along with the suit. I was picking out the one that looked the luckiest when my wife outlined the day's arrangements. She would take the car, and I would join them later by train. My day went very well. I returned to my office fully confident of 2 new large accounts. With that kind of success, I was ready to call it a day when the phone rang. It was my wife. She'd forgotten my son's Winnie the Pooh suitcase full of baby things that she needed. Would I mind stopping by the apartment and picking it up on my way to the train? No problem. I straightened the papers on my desk and left for the day. Back in the apartment, I exchanged my polished leather briefcase for the baby's suitcase. It was white with red and yellow trim. The characters from the story cavorted across the case. Tigger and Piglet and Winnie himself. I remember the part in the story where Tigger and Winnie were such good friends that when they wanted to see each other, they both got the thought at the same time and met at a place in the forest they knew so well. I left without an overcoat. It was a spring day. I descended into the subway. I stood on the platform, a rising young executive in an elegant new suit, holding his Winnie the Pooh suitcase. When the subway arrived, the doors shot open and I shot into a seat and put the suitcase between my feet. The subway is full of so many peculiarities, from beggars with paper cups to religious fanatics delivering fiery sermons. My little oddity didn't even register. At Penn Station, I pushed through the turnstiles and joined hundreds of commuters, waiting for the board to light up with the arrival of my train. Once on the train, I took the pair of seats at the front, facing another pair of seats. There's only one pair of seats like this in the car. I put the suitcase next to me. A young woman sat across from me and immediately took out some kind of report from her briefcase and began to study it. As the train moved through the darkened tunnel, I studied her reflection in the glass. She had those big screen looks, buttoned up in a very corporate style. In one of those 50s movies, she would have inherited the business from her father, been dismissed by the board of directors because she was a mere woman, and proved herself to be more fiercely competitive than any of them by the end of the film. Along the way, she would meet and fall in love with the leading man, who was wearing a suit remarkably like the one I had on today. She was quite beautiful, and that her business suit revealed nothing made her even more enticing. But wait a minute. My wife was just as beautiful and just as capable. And besides, this was the happiest time of my life now that we had our little boy. Maybe they'd even meet me at the train station. I resolved to conquer this thing that always made you feel that you were losing a little part of your life if beauty moved in and out of it and you did nothing about it. I continued to enjoy the movie in the glass, but I determined that I did not have to say anything. Then she spoke to me. She cleared her throat slightly, so I turned to look at her. She was looking back at me and my Winnie the Pooh suitcase, which I was now clutching for some reason. Then, very slowly and very carefully, she said with her perfect lips, Are you running away from home?